What you've just heard is one of the many deaths from the monkey, the new major motion picture from Osgood Perkins, Stephen King, and James Wan. Experience it in theaters everywhere this Friday, because everybody dies, and that's life. Let's have some fun.
Hey guys, Madame Ram, starring Toni Collette, tells the dramatized true story of Georgia Frontiere, a former entertainer turned owner and heavy hitter in the boys' club that is the NFL. After her husband's mysterious death, she shocks everyone by inheriting the LA Rams and taking the reins of a major sports franchise. Relying on her wit and astrological charts to make decisions, she turns the NFL on its head and to this day remains one of the most beloved, despised, and controversial figures in modern sports. You guys, I started listening to this and I am absolutely hooked. The twists and turns, I didn't see any of them coming, and I have so many questions. I cannot wait to continue to tune in. The woman who went from singer to NFL owner, defying expectations and shaking up the world of professional football. Madame Ram dives into her relentless quest for respect, power, and a championship trophy. This isn't your typical sports story. Follow Georgia Frontiere as she navigates a male-dominated industry using star charts and sheer determination to make her mark in history. Whether you love football, powerful struggles, or just a good scandal, Madame Ram has it all. Ambition, mystery, and the unforgettable legacy of a woman who refused to stay on the sidelines. Madame Ram, the woman who took on a man's world and won. Follow Madame Ram on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening now. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Big Mad True Crime, where we get big mad over true crime. I'm your host, Heather Ashley, and today you'll be hearing part 7 of the Diddy files. Small talk sucks, so let's dive in. All right, guys, I wish we were starting on literally anything light, but I don't think that exists with this entire case. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to start around November 30th of 2009, and this is going to come from Dawn's lawsuit against Diddy. Following the Soul Train Awards in 2009, which appear to have been on November 29th, Diddy sent a private jet to pick up Dawn and Kalina to fly them back to his house in New York for some kind of after party. And it was there that Dawn alleges that there were several well-known celebrities at the party with them and copious amounts of alleged illegal drugs being openly consumed. And while that is kind of shocking, but probably not at this point, it gets real fucking dark because this is the point in the lawsuit where Dawn alleges through quote-unquote information and belief that Diddy allegedly arranged for dozens of girls, some of whom seemed to be underage. They actually used the word appeared to be underage, to be transported to the party. And when those girls got there, they were wearing little to no clothes and were given drugs and alcohol to consume, allegedly. Dawn also alleges that many of the girls appeared to be drugged or passed out when Diddy and other guests, allegedly, performed sexual acts on them. Dawn was absolutely aghast, in full shock, seeing all of this happen in front of her. And she says in this lawsuit that she believes that her presence at this party with those girls there, the drugs, the alcohol, everyone else doing what they were allegedly doing, was some kind of test as to whether or not Diddy could trust her. He allegedly said things like, "This is a buffet. Enjoy yourselves. This is what we do. This is how we party." Dawn was mortified by everything that she was seeing and quote unquote implored Diddy's personal assistant named Capricorn to just let her leave this party. But according to this lawsuit, Capricorn didn't simply just let her leave. Dawn alleges that Capricorn asked her to give her like 15 minutes or so to make it make sense. Apparently, she wanted 15 minutes to figure out a way to make sure that Dawn's exit didn't seem suspicious to Diddy, because reacting to what the fuck she just described and wanting to leave would apparently be suspicious in the eyes of a fucking goblin. Dawn goes on to say that these situations happened way too often, and at these parties, guests were actually made to give up their phones as soon as they walked in. And once everyone was there, the doors would be locked behind them and guarded by security guards so that no one could leave the premise without Diddy being notified. And this is where it gets even more fucked up. In this lawsuit, Dawn alleges that Diddy actually hired cops to attend his parties to send a clear message to everyone there that he had influence over them. And can you fucking imagine why people didn't speak up? I don't know if she's saying that they were in uniform, not in uniform, but she is alleging that police officers were inside of these parties. And if so, and if it was known, who knows if they were real cops or not? Either way, if the guests at these parties were under the belief that police officers were watching underage girls being taken advantage of, and that is the nicest way I could say that, drugs being openly used, people pass out, all of these things, and the cops were just watching, alleged cops were just watching and doing nothing about it, what the fuck would make them think that reporting this to literally anyone would behoove them? It wouldn't be a question of whether or not you would be believed, because rest assured, they saw it with their own eyes, allegedly. So it's not about being believed at that point. If there were indeed police officers there, it's who the fuck is going to do anything about it if they didn't do anything about it when it happened in front of their face? So again, maybe we refrain from, I don't know, now until the end of time, asking why women don't report this shit, because it's not like any of this was happening behind closed doors. What was happening in front of everyone was arguably more mortifying than what was kept a secret, because what the fuck of any of this has been a secret at this point? I can't think of one. This episode of Big Mad True Crime is brought to you by Wild Grain. I'm not gonna lie, bread makes me happy. Me and carbs are besties, and when I found a monthly subscription box that delivers that happiness right to my door every month, it was a no-brainer. So let's talk about Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first ever Bake from Frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Think sweets, salties, and pasties. And as someone who was gluten-free for 5 years, they've got a whole box for y'all too. They even have a 100% plant-based box so everyone can enjoy this wonder of the carb world, no matter your dietary restrictions. Each box is also fully customizable. I cannot cook. You guys already know this, but that doesn't matter for a second with Wild Grain because they take the hassle out of baking. Everything bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less. So anytime you want delectable carbs, you get delectable carbs. I've been subscribed for well over a year now, and I mean this with my entire chest. It's top 5 in my list of best decisions ever. I knew I loved bread, but I had no idea how much more there was to love about my friend carbs. Their croissants are somehow both flaky and soft, and they make these blueberry biscuits that have changed my life. I don't even like fruit, and not one day goes by that I don't want them in my mouth. You guys, I've had their cookies, their pasta, their pretzels, and I just want more. 10 out of 10 recommend. Are you ready to bring your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/BMTC to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/BMTC. That's wildgrain.com/BMTC, or you can use promo code BMTC at checkout. Dawn goes on to talk more about these parties, and just like Cassie said, Dawn said these parties would last for days at a time, and she actually remembered one of these parties in her lawsuit, and this one was apparently at his house in Miami, and she alleges that Diddy stated that he had arranged for busloads of young exotic girls, including albino girls, to come to the party. And Dawn says that she watched as young, inebriated girls allegedly got sexually violated by Diddy and his guests. At that point, Dawn says that at this particular party, she wound up barricading herself into a room, so terrified that she used furniture to block the door until she could get out. She says that she actually wound up doing this anytime that she was required to stay at his house, just so that she could relax enough to get any sleep. Moving on to early 2010, this is when Dawn alleges in her lawsuit that Diddy punched Cassie in the face in the bathroom at a party in LA. And she says that when Cassie would try to stand up for herself, Diddy would allegedly hit her and choke her. Dawn states that the first few times that she and Kalina saw Diddy's abuse against Cassie, they actually tried to talk to Cassie about it and give her the courage to leave him, but says that every time they did try to help Cassie, Diddy would somehow find out about it and would get absolutely irate, yelling things like, "Y'all bitches don't get in my relationship. Don't tell my bitch what she needs to be doing. Just make money and shut the fuck up. I end artists. I shelve careers. You could be missing, and you bitches want to die today." Oh my gosh. While all of that was happening in January, Diddy made sure that on the 23rd, he had his son Justin's Sweet 16 party at M2 Ultra Lounge in New York City, and it was attended by Justin's mom, Misa Hilton, and of course, Nicki Minaj as well. On the 25th, Diddy went to DJ Enough Said's birthday party at a nightclub in New York. And moving into February, Diddy, Sean Kingston, and Justin Bieber performed together at the BET SOS Saving Ourselves Help for Haiti benefit concert in Miami. And doing the math here, which is very difficult, it looks like Justin was probably 15 years old at this time. Now, we talked about Macy's in the last episode, but on May 5th of 2010, it comes up again. Diddy held a press conference for Sean John with Macy's CEO Terry Lundgren and Macy's Chief Merchandising Officer Jeff Jeanette at the Standard Hotel in New York City. And while his career was booming, we move into the summer of 2010 with more horror. Dawn alleges in her lawsuit that she was actually hospitalized in the summer of 2010 after getting a fever, abdominal pain, and some swollen glands. She writes that she was diagnosed with arthralgia and anemia and told that it was important for her to eat well, stay hydrated, and get enough rest. And we know that she had to put furniture in front of doors at Diddy's house when she was required to stay there just to get any sleep. She says that she let Diddy know all of the things the doctors were saying, but states in the lawsuit that instead of being sympathetic in the literal least, he actually ordered her to be in the recording studio the following day for another multi-day recording session. And during those sessions, she alleges that he would go into these massive fits of rage where he would just throw shit. And we've seen behavior like that in some of the many documentaries, docuseries, reality TV episodes that this monster has been in. The next thing we're going to talk about is what the lawsuit says was in October of 2010, and it's a show in Glasgow for Diddy Dirty Money. But looking at the photos posted online, it looks like it might have actually been on September 29th of 2010, but that's honestly just a few days apart. But continuing, during a show in Glasgow, Dawn alleges that she actually witnessed Diddy and several other males gangbanging, and that's a quote, Diddy's assistant in the hotel pool. Everyone was supposed to catch a flight home the following day, but Dawn alleges in this lawsuit that the assistant wasn't on the flight. So Dawn says she asked Diddy where she was, and he reportedly told her, I don't give a fuck where that bitch is. And Dawn later learned that Diddy had allegedly taken his assistant's passport back to the US with him, which left her stranded in the UK. What the fuck? What in the actual fuck? How? No. Not only is it traumatic for Dawn to watch that happen, I guess kind of walk out and I guess see it, but it's so traumatic for that to happen to his assistant. We haven't heard the assistant's take on this, but then the following day, having him allegedly say something to the effect of, I don't give a fuck where that bitch is, and knowing what Dawn had allegedly seen the night before, that's so dehumanizing. And then to find out that allegedly her passport had actually been taken from her. Not only did they leave without her, they left and allegedly took necessary paperwork with them so that she could not leave in any kind of timely manner after this, what I would say is a pretty traumatic thing happened to her, period. In the end, she was his assistant. And so if this happened, like Dawn alleges it did, there is a gross gap in the power dynamic here. Again, we don't know the assistant's opinion of the events that did or did not happen, but Dawn alleges did. But in the end, there is a huge power imbalance there. And then to not be able to fly home because somebody took your passport with them and refer to you as a bitch when someone asks, where's the assistant? At least there was somebody on this planet who was worried about where that girl was, and it was Dawn. Ugh. On the topic of Glasgow, Dawn says in her lawsuit that Kalina told her that her husband was being abusive. This is again alleged, but according to Dawn's lawsuit, she alleges that Kalina suffered a severe assault and wanted to leave her husband. Dawn says that she helped her come up with a plan to leave, but Kalina and her husband did wind up staying together, and says that her husband and Diddy found out about Dawn trying to help Kalina get away, and they became noticeably, quote unquote, distrustful of Dawn, which genuinely scared her. Now we are officially into October of 2010, and according to XXL, on only October 12th, 4 of Diddy's bodyguards allegedly beat a man named Jabari Tilgum, who was one of 12 photographers at a BET Hip Hop Awards after party. He was supposed to be taking pictures just like all of the other photographers there, but apparently he was the one they chose to beat. And a security guard at the club allegedly corroborated the events and even signed an affidavit backing up this story. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar. Hey guys, I work a lot, but I love my job, so it's all good. Hyperfocus is my ADHD superpower. However, one of my weaknesses is that sometimes I will literally forget to eat. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I tell myself that I'll make something as soon as I finish this or as soon as I finish that, but then I get sucked in again and I forget to eat again. Thankfully, however, I found IQ Bar about a year or so ago, and it is my little daily hack to get in something nutritious and delicious, quick and on the go. Start the new year off right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all 3. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners an exclusive deal, 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. Seriously, IQ bars are a delight, and I don't say that lightly. They taste great and they don't give me that afternoon crash. They're entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners, and their flavor selection is on another level. Their lemon blueberry is my favorite, but that was a hard choice to make because I've never had an IQ bar that I didn't want more of. Mint chocolate chip is a close second, but then there's banana nut and so much more. Even though winter is upon us and frigid, IQ Mix was a lifesaver for me during the summer when I was outside melting working on my porch. IQ Mix has 0 sugar, hydrates with electrolytes, and boosts mood and mental clarity with magnesium and lion's mane. There are 7 amazing flavors, and the lemon, lime, and pina colada are amazing. I mean, they're all delicious, but seriously, 10 out of 10. And let's not forget about IQ Joe. It is an instant coffee without the jitters, thanks to that magnesium again, and also has that same lion's mane blend in there to boost productivity. I was a little bit worried about instant coffee, but that was squashed pretty quick. The vanilla spice is my absolute favorite, but they're all fantastic. I mean, shout out to the toasted hazelnut. I am not shocked in the slightest that IQ Bar has over 15,000 5-star reviews. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text BIG to 64,000. Text BIG to 64,000. That's BIG to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Four days after a photographer is beaten, Diddy attends Andre Harrell's 50th birthday party at the Derby in New York City alongside Kim Kardashian and Kourtney Kardashian. A couple of months later, on December 3rd of 2010, Diddy Dirty Money was taking off and was actually scheduled to perform live on Saturday Night Live. Dawn writes in her lawsuit that she waited for a call for when her car was going to be picking her up so that they could go to rehearsal, but says that all she got was a scathing call from Diddy asking, quote unquote, "Where the fuck are you bitches? You bitches don't want this. Y'all don't deserve to have someone pick you up. Get a cab." Now, obviously, they're frantic at this point, so they call a cab, and Dawn and Kalina head to SNL Studios, but when they got there, she alleges that Diddy was with Herve Pierre and yelling, "Where the fuck were you bitches? You bitches don't want to win. You don't want this. I'm so tired of y'all." Now, you might think that there weren't witnesses around, because certainly if there were, people would have talked about this, but you would be wrong. Apparently, there were plenty of people around and actively reacting to this insanity. So Dawn, instead of clapping back at him or fuck, she actually just asked him not to call them bitches in front of everyone. Now, in response to that, Dawn alleges that Diddy raised his arms toward Dawn and swung his fist towards her face. She said that she braced for impact, but before Diddy could hit her, his bodyguard actually stepped in and grabbed her and then escorted her out into the Bad Boy Records Bentley that was parked outside. Following Dawn getting into the Bad Boy Bentley, apparently Kalina ran into the vehicle after her, and the bodyguard actually closed the doors behind her and locked them. Now, you might be thinking, that's okay, you can open a door from the inside. Nuh-uh. So according to this lawsuit, once inside the closed-doored Bad Boy Bentley, Dawn realized that there were 0 door handles on the inside. Kalina still had her phone on her at that time, so Dawn used it to call her dad to tell him what was going on, telling him that she needed help and she was worried that she was about to go missing. Shortly after that phone call, the bodyguard came back out and got Kalina out of the Bentley, but according to this lawsuit, Dawn alleges that she was left in that vehicle with no door handles on the inside by herself for 2 hours. She writes that she screamed, but no one responded, and it wasn't until her hero of a father drove from Baltimore, Maryland, all the way to New York City and demanded to see his daughter that Diddy's bodyguard finally let her out. Dawn's dad was not done, though. She writes in her lawsuit that her dad waited 2 additional hours just to get the chance to confront Diddy. And when he said that he was going to contact police about what he had done to his daughter, Diddy allegedly told him, "Think about your family and think about your daughter's career." The following night, Diddy Dirty Money performed that show on Saturday Night Live. Following the performance, Diddy allegedly complimented Dawn on her performance and then told her, "You don't call your dad unless you're in the hospital." That might sound like it's too much horrifying shit for 1 month, but it seems as though Diddy wasn't even close to done. In December of 2010 to January of 2011, Cassie alleges in a lawsuit that Diddy blew up a man's car after he found out that said man was interested in dating Cassie. And we know that in the criminal indictment of Diddy, there was arson mentioned, and according to Forbes, this was actually the vehicle of rapper Kid Cudi. His car was blown up sometime between December of 2010 and January of 2011, and it's alleged that the co-conspirators cut open the top of his convertible and dropped a Molotov cocktail inside. Witnesses allege that Diddy even bragged about setting the fire, which fire officials obviously deemed was intentional. It's really hard to make it look like cutting open the top of a vehicle and dropping in a Molotov cocktail is a whoops. In 2011, Cassie finally broke things off with Diddy and did have a short relationship with rapper Kid Cudi. According to Cassie's lawsuit, there was a point in time where Diddy was actually on a trip of some sort, and when he came back, demanded a freak off with Cassie, and it looks like this was actually after they broke up. Now, Cassie did comply, but I want to be clear here that she did so very reluctantly. You have to remember that he was the head of her record label, and she was absolutely terrified of this man. During this freak-off, Cassie alleges that Diddy went through her phone, and that's when he found those emails between Cassie and Kid Cudi. She said that he got completely enraged, grabbed a corkscrew, and actually lunged at her. She writes that she ran away and went to Kid Cudi's home to escape Diddy, and soon after, one of Diddy's staff members told Cassie that she needed to talk to Diddy. Cassie once again complied because she is terrified of this man, and when she went to talk to him, yet again, he was absolutely enraged, hit her several times, and kicked her in the back as she tried to run out of the door. Following that incident, Cassie actually left the state and went to her mom's house in Connecticut, where her mom took pictures of her bruises. 2011, just like every other year here, absolutely mortifying. It is hard to believe that anyone can even attempt to live some kind of normal, let alone highfalutin, very public lifestyle and be regular, appear regular. But that's exactly what Diddy did, because on April 1st of 2011, he hosted his son Christian's 13th birthday party at the Rolling Stone Restaurant and Lounge in LA. Diddy also had a performance that month, and according to BET, following his performance in Manhattan, he asked for a police escort from the show to an after party in New Jersey, and he fucking got it. This dude got a 3-car NYPD police car escort, and we wonder why fucking response times are heinous. Moving along to October of 2011, the New Zealand Herald reports that Cameron Diaz and Diddy were caught making out in a booth at Catch Restaurant in New York City, and he apparently said that Cameron Diaz was his booty call. They were seen again together the following month in Beverly Hills. It looks like she had broken up with A-Rod in September. It's not lost on me here that J-Lo also dated A-Rod, but that was later, not before, so we're not going to put on our tinfoil hats just yet. Maybe not today. Continuing on with the New Zealand Herald report, a source told them that Diddy is single whenever there's a better offer on the table. However, Diddy's camp alleged that all of it was untrue and they'd only been seen together because they were working on a film project. I checked the University of Google, and it appears that Diddy and Cameron Diaz have never appeared in a movie together. So, moving along. On October 24th, Diddy, Trump, and Melania, along with Brian Grazer, Brett Ratner, all attended the Tower Heist premiere in New York City. Obviously, a lot of people were at that premiere. These are the photos I was able to verify. Hey guys, I have so many monthly subscriptions, it would blow your mind. Laundry supplies? Subscribed. Makeup? Subscribed. Every streaming platform you can think of? Also subscribed. Subscriptions make my life easier, but it also makes some things easier for me to forget. When I signed up for Rocket Money about a year or so ago, I actually learned that I had subscribed to the same thing twice. I had no idea, but that's just one of the amazing things that Rocket Money can help you with, so let's talk about them. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions. I just open up the app and voila, I can see everything I subscribe to, and if I see something that I don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with just a few taps. Rocket Money's dashboard gives me a clear view of all of my expenses across multiple accounts, which is worth its weight in gold. They even help me create a personalized budget with custom categories to help me stay on track. And with their monthly spending trends, I know when I'm getting off track and can adjust accordingly. I even get alerts when a bill increases, if there's unusual spending activity, or if I'm getting close to going over my budget. Honestly, it feels like Rocket Money is the adultier adult that we all need. Rocket Money has a new feature, though, which I'm really excited about. It's their goals feature. It automatically saves money for you so you don't have to think about it. You can just put it towards paying off a credit card, saving for a house, or frankly, whatever you want because you're the boss here. If that wasn't amazing enough, Rocket Money will even try to negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. They automatically scan your bills and look for opportunities to save. Then you just ask them to negotiate and they deal with customer service so you don't have to. And we love them for that. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/bigmad today. That's rocketmoney.com/bigmad. rocketmoney.com/bigmad. Moving into February of 2012, Diddy paid more than $46,000 to cover damages to a penthouse hotel room following a freak-off. Also, in February of 2012, during Paris Fashion Week, Diddy allegedly told Cassie that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car, and he wanted to make sure that Kid Cudi and his friends were home when it happened. The timeline here does confuse me a little bit, but I'm guessing that at the time, nobody truly knew why Kid Cudi's car had gone up in flames. And it sounds like maybe it's possible that Diddy was saying, oh, I also want to do that. I'm not totally sure here, but photos of Paris Fashion Week do appear to have been taken after the incident happened. Diddy isn't the kind of guy that lets trauma and violence stop him. So in October of 2012, he had his 43rd birthday party. Now, having a birthday party is not hard, but he apparently had a small private gathering, according to a photo Bow Wow posted, at his house, and in attendance was Snoop, Nelly, French Montana, Lorenz Tate, and Diddy commented that it was so legendary. In March of 2012, Diddy performed at Escape to Total Rewards at Gotham Hall in New York City. And in December of 2012, Diddy attended Rico Love's 30th birthday celebration. Rico Love was with Interscope at one point, and the photos from this party are absolutely bizarre. There's one of Ivana Trump kind of uncomfortably close to Diddy and kissing his chain, but also there was Jason Bin and a guy named Jonathan, who is Kim Kardashian's bestie. The date here is a little bit hard, but I have a note for December 22nd of 2012, where it is alleged that in the early morning hours, Diddy and a conspirator kidnapped a person who is labeled as Person 1 at gunpoint to facilitate the breaking and entering into the home of another person who, according to this lawsuit, is labeled as Person 2. Now, there are police reports and other records to back this up. It looks like this might be related to the Kid Cudi incident because the document memo says that 2 weeks later, in January of 2012, Diddy's co-conspirators cut open his drop-top convertible and dropped a Molotov cocktail inside. And multiple witnesses would allegedly testify later or make statements about Diddy bragging about his part in this. And a man named Rodney Jones, who you guys are going to hear about a lot in the coming episodes and also filed a lawsuit against Diddy, states that a member of Diddy's security team was paid $5,000 to do it. Rolling into 2013, after the MTV VMAs, there was a party, also known as an after party. We've heard way too much about those, but multiple sources told Complex that Diddy, who was wildly intoxicated, allegedly accosted Kendrick Lamar. This was apparently about some recent verse he had written claiming that he was the king of New York. And, according to Diddy, there can only be one king of New York, I guess. Anywho, Diddy allegedly tried to pour a drink on him, but it was actually J. Cole that intervened. Following the intervention, a fight broke out, but the New York Post reported a totally different story. The New York Post, always known for their reporting, claimed that the fight was because J. Cole was saying inappropriate things to Diddy and Cassie. But I'd like to point to a Kendrick Lamar verse released in 2021 on his track Let Go My Hand, where he says, quote unquote, "My last scrap was with Puff Daddy, who would have thought it?" Things went a little bit quiet, but at one point, Cassie's lawsuit alleges that yet another one of the freak-offs resulted in tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage charges at the Intercontinental Hotel in New York. Cassie alleges that it was actually Diddy's chief of staff, Tony, who wound up paying the bill. Trucking along here, we are officially in 2014, and at this time, Cameron Diaz starts dating Benji Madden, and even though his camp seemed to deny any relationship with Cameron Diaz, a source told Us Weekly that Diddy was actually really sad when he heard that Cameron was taken. He reportedly said that she was the sexiest girl in the world and regretted not taking things further with her, something I'm sure she doesn't regret at all. On February 5th of 2014, Diddy and Justin Bieber were photographed together partying at a Ciroc party at Vanquish Lounge in Atlanta. And it looks like Bieber probably would have been around 19 at the time. Jermaine Dupri was also there, as well as Alex Gidwan, who was apparently this kind of king of Atlanta's nightlife scene. In March of 2014, Diddy released the song Big Homie featuring French Montana and Rick Ross, and I'd love to give you some more bad lyrics. So here we go. Big Homie states, "You could go to any hood, bet they know me. Rose gold pinky ring, matching rollie. Boy, use a lil slur. Gary Coleman, I be calling all the shots. I'm Big Homie, big homie, big homie, big homie, big homie. Boy, use a slur. Gary Coleman, again. I be calling all the shots. I'm Big Homie. It's giving, I'm a big boy." But let's continue. It goes on to say, "I'm winning for the new bitch. She was stuntin'. That pussy got a paper tag, and it's 100. My bellman, call me Sir Combs. I'm Richard Drummond. My Rolls Royce spray cologne. The fragrance money, it's Bad Boy Records, bitch. You know I run it. Ciroc Amaretto coming, them bitches love it. I show up with my jewelry on and never doubt it. You show up with your jewelry on and leave without it. Diddy go to any hood, big rollie. Top down on my block. Slur. Know me. The only one that's topping Fords. I'm getting lonely. See us out here racing yachts like fuck the police." That did not age well, but let's continue with this monstrosity of a rap song. The song goes on to say, "Bugattis swerving lane to lane, we get money. Once promoters say my name, fly bitches coming. These ratchet bitches love a slur. So cuff your chick in, more 80s than the 80s. Slur. I'm Money Mitchin. I'm Money Mitchin." I actually had to look up what Mitchin meant, and apparently it means that somebody who gets money by any means. We know. Rick Ross is in this song, and I actually love Rick Ross. His lyrics go as follows. "My bitches get the Birkin, slur. They hold the weapons." We have talked about women having guns in their purses. But let's keep going. It says, "My bitches get the Birkin, they hold the weapons." And that's kind of the linchpin of why I wanted to include most of these terrible lyrics. We've heard about guns being in women's purses in this series before, and it is not going to be the last time. Sometimes I truly believe that there is some truth in these lyrics, and clearly everybody thinks women are bitches. You have no fucking idea. You gonna learn. Hey guys, did you know we're eating and drinking roughly half a credit card's worth of plastic a week? Yeah, the products we're using every day are ultimately contaminating our water supply and generating hundreds of microplastics that we end up ingesting. It is as gross as it sounds. But fear not, because our next sponsor, Blue Land, set out to do something about it, eliminating the need for single-use plastic in the products we reach for the most. Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet while still delivering that powerful clean that you're used to. They're actually independently tested to perform alongside major brands. Blue Land's idea is simple. They offer refillable cleaning products with a beautiful, cohesive design that looks great on your counter. Just fill your bottles up with water, drop in their tablets, wait for them to dissolve, and boom, you are ready to clean. You'll never have to grab bulky cleaning supplies on your grocery run again. Their refills start at just $2.25, which hasn't changed in the year since I started using them. And you can even set up a subscription or buy in bulk for more savings. From cleaning sprays to hand soap, toilet bowl cleaner, and laundry tablets, all Blueland products are made with clean ingredients you can feel good about. You guys, I hate clutter. It legitimately stresses me out, but I'm also a bit of a germaphobe, especially during flu season. I cannot tell you enough how much I love Blueland. The bottles are just aesthetically pleasing, period. But I also feel like it just takes forever to run out of cleaner now. I have the tablets, my cute little packets or tins, and whenever my bottle is running low, I just plop in another one and we're back in action. The convenience here is top tier and my cabinet space is very happy. So is my wallet. I am 0% shocked that Blueland is trusted in over 1 million homes, one of them being mine. Blueland has a special offer for our podcast listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/bigmad. You don't want to miss this. Blueland.com/bigmad for 15% off. That's blueland.com/bigmad to get 15% off. All right, guys, I'm not going to punish you with any more Diddy lyrics because that's cruel. And what we're going to talk about next is pretty heavy, and so I want to give you a little bit of a mental health break before we do that. Of course, we will start up right where we left off next week, and we'll be starting in May of 2014. So until then, take care of yourself. For documents pertaining to this case, check out Diddy's highlight at the top of my Instagram profile at the Heather Ashley, and join me there on the first Monday of every month where you go live with me and we talk about today's episode and all other true crime cases on your mind. If you're tired of listening to ads, feel free to head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/bigmadtruecrime, where for just $2 whole a month, your episodes are totally ad-free. You can also subscribe on Apple. I think it's called Big Mad Plus. Either way, there are bonus episodes, there are ad-free episodes. Make your heart happy. If you have a case you would like to hear covered, please share it with Big Mad True Crime on social media because all cases are covered by listener request. And I'll be bringing you part 8 of the Diddy Files next week, and I cannot wait. But until then, we out.